Hi, I'm Zanzi. Welcome back to Farmers Inside Track, proudly brought to you by Food Forum Zanzi. My name is Patricia Tembo, your host, and welcome to this episode. We will be running it back by revisiting one of our most downloaded episodes. There is an increased interest in the essential oils industry. The options vary from citrus to eucalyptus to indigenous crops like buku. So South Africa is quite well positioned to produce high quality essential oils. And to make sure you don't miss out on any of the market industry information, we are revisiting the episode we recorded with Karen Swanepoel, who is the CEO of the Southern African Essential Oil Producers Association.
Welcome to Farmers Inside Track. We're so glad to have you on the show, Karen Swanepoel, diving into the topic of essential oils and discussing what the industry looks like. Welcome to the show, Karen. We're just very grateful to have you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good day, everybody.
What are the primary essential oils that are produced in South Africa? When I was reading on the website, I saw that globally citrus is dominant. If you could give us an idea of what the industry looks like in South Africa.
We are very well positioned with citrus, as you rightly said, and our second biggest export product is also eucalyptus. Now, both of them is not indigenous, but we're doing fairly well with it, and also tea tree, which is also indigenous to Australia, like eucalyptus. South Africa is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And then I think the fourth one, if we go down with volumes, is kakibos. French prefer to use the word tagette, because it goes into perfumes. And then we also do buchu, and that we also do rosemary. And in the past, we were very well positioned with rose geranium, lavender, lemongrass, mint. South Africa is actually a country that can do everything that anybody else do. We also do things that they can't do, and that's the seed oils of our indigenous marula, the baobab, and the Kalahari melon. And that's a different process, but we also link that to other seed oils like macadamia oil, we're doing fairly well, and grapeseed oil, and even pumpkin seed oil, cactus seed oil, you name it, we do it.
Thank you so much for that answer. And I was quite interested to hear that, there's opportunity for indigenous plants to be produced into essential oils. How has the essential oils industry in South Africa evolved in recent years? Give us an idea of the progression.
It was very small, it became larger, and it shrunk again, and now it's growing back again to where it should be. We are really very good in quality of oil. We cannot compete with volumes. There are countries that really produce a lot of volumes of oil, therefore they are able to sell it at a much lower price than us. But we are very good, and our reputation is for quality, and that's what happened in the past few years. We've become extremely quality conscious. The rest of the world knows it. They don't doubt the quality of our oils. And it's almost like our wine. If it's South Africa, it's got to be good. And we are making sure that we can actually substantiate that. We wrote recently some standards for our oils so that we can convince the academics and also the buyers, the agents, whoever buy our oil, that we've got the in-house standards in place, and therefore the price is what it is. And they've learned very quickly. They have to take it, otherwise, next customer. That's where we've evolved at this stage.
It's actually quite great to hear that South Africa has a good reputation of high quality in terms of the essential oils industry. And it makes me also wonder, what are the opportunities for South African farmers looking to diversify? I know you mentioned some crop like citrus, but maybe if you can give us an idea of what the opportunities are for South African farmers.
Well, South Africa is extremely diverse. And some oils survived the turmoil of droughts and floods and even the slump in the market after COVID. But at the same time, we've got world-class rose oil on the market at the moment. And that is from areas where there's a lot of challenges, where there's, in the Free State, for example, there's cold and there's a lot of problems, with the land and with safety and things like that. But what we have seen is that if people look at organic certification, they are able to negotiate a better competitive price. And at the moment, the world is undersupplied with the essential oils, which makes up the reason why there's a lot of artificial oils, adulterated oils, fake oils on the market, and people buy it. They actually get away with it because of the undersupply at the moment. The opportunities that we see that's very attractive now, it is not really attractive. So people don't really steal the crops. If it's organic certified, you get a premium on your price. It's got a shelf life and it's got an increasing demand market, which other commodities don't really have. And what we see now, people are very conscious of natural products. So there's increasingly applications now in pesticides, in aromatherapy, even in veterinary applications. Essential oils are featuring these. So it's also a perfect intercropping option with your existing farming activities that you have, while it's at the same time combating insects and even fungal problems or less if you intercrop that with essential oils, because of the strong aroma that it gives off, it deters insects.
Our farmers listening would be glad to know that it would be beneficial. It wouldn't interrupt their normal production process, but rather support it, because you're mentioning pest management and how it can deter pests. How is it produced in South Africa? What is the process of producing essential oils? I assume it's different for the different plant species, but maybe you can just give us a general outline.
It's a very old method to steam distill the plant material, and it is still the desired one because there's no chemicals in contact with it. So it's a simply process where you steam the material, you condense it, and then you separate the water and the oil. Now we see that the water that's actually a byproduct called the hydrolat has also got a market. Taking into consideration this is distilled, flavored or fragranced water. So that's also have a market now, which changes the whole economic situation of that. That's for steam. And for steam, it's usually, your leafy material. And then we have a cold pressing method, and that is for the seed oils. And we also have another method of hydrodistillation for very sensitive crops like your rose, your jasmine, orchids, and things like that. They go through that process. And I'm proud to say South African engineers are world class. Our units that we design, it's almost our best exporting product, is our equipment, because we are on it. We know exactly how to apply the techniques to get the best quality out of the plants.
I was going through the website and I noticed that essential oils is closely linked to green consumers. And I'm thinking, while we're still on the topic of production, can you maybe explain how the essential oil industry is linked to green consumerism?
Yes, for sure. We have to remember that most of the time, the people that are growing it are going organic because of the premium advantage there. And then all the waste materials are put back into the farm. So it's a circular process that we see. There's nothing wasted. They make use of the spilled material, goes into composting. It's even sold like that. You don't have wastages. There's no chemicals coming in and out of that. So it's also adding to the whole thing of natural products into our foods and even into our cleaning agents. So that is, I think, one of the biggest advantages, that we are busy with the right thing at the right time.
Earlier in the conversation, you mentioned that there is a market of fake oils and counterfeit products. How do producers, ensure the quality and purity of the essential oils that they are producing?
That is really something that we are putting a lot of attention to. That is how we can compete, is with quality. So we have got accredited laboratories all over the country. If we say accredited, it's also international accredited. We say SANAS accredited, which means that if the buyer buys the oil that went through a SANAS accredited laboratory, they don't have to retest the oil like in the past, because it's internationally accepted. So they have to take your price and look at your quality that's being tested, and that is how we can actually embark on a better price. And we also tell our producers to start off from the beginning with the correct genetic material. If you don't have the genetic material that is in requested form, you will not have the correct chemotype, which means it will be rejected. It's nothing to do with the quality, but it can be seen as inferior quality and you won't get your best price. So get to the right material, go for the best agricultural practices, and get it tested. That's the 3 steps that we say we have to go.
what are the regulations and laws around producing essential oils? I know you touched on it in previous answers, but maybe you can just go more into detail about the laws and regulations.
There is a lot of regulations in the industry. Most of it is coming from the EU. And if you sell to the EU and you have more than 1 ton of essential oils, you have to go for the REACH registration. Now, REACH stands for Registration, Evaluation, Authorization, and Restriction of Chemicals. There's been a lot of debate whether essential oil is a natural product, whether it's a chemical. And I'm glad to say it is a changeover. People have now accepted it rather to classify it as a natural product than as a chemical. So there is a little bit of a relax on that law. It's very constricting. And remember, it's only if you've got more than a ton of essential oil. Whereas at the same time, the seed oils, as I've mentioned, the marula, baobab, and those ones, they are exempted from this REACH registration. So you don't have to have that. That's as far as the international rules are. There's also other rules coming into place. You've got to prove that it's free of heavy metals, and that will actually be also quite visible in the test that I have in front of them. When it comes to indigenous species in South Africa, you do need a permit from the Department of Environmental Affairs. Now, if it's indigenous, you also have to have a access and benefit sharing agreement with communities in place before you get the permit. So at the moment, those are the 2 regulations that we are looking at. There's also new laws coming and going. It seems that as soon as you've managed mastered the one law, another one is popping up. So it's never finished. There's always new regulation, and we try to keep up with it, but it's really difficult because the customers differ. Each country has their own rules. For example, if you export anything to China, they've got their list of registered material. And if it's not there, they don't accept it. They see it as a foreign component. And that is what's helping us now at the moment. If they take off essential oil as a chemical, but rather as a natural product, then we don't need chemical list of China, which is very restrictive. But yes, there's certainly laws. And as I said, it's a never-ending story.
When it comes to using essential oils for medicinal purposes, one would assume that the laws and regulations are more stringent. How would one break it to, say, a market for medicinal? I assume that's where the money is.
You are quite right. We have got SAEOPA, the South African Health Practitioners Association. They are very strict with reason. You have to have a registered product if it's going to be applied for anything pharmaceutical. You can't put claims on your product. In other words, you can't say this will cure cancer or that will cure high blood pressure or whatever. You can't do that. Things have to go through clinical tests, and you have to have it registered before it can be used for pharmaceuticals. But they're also getting strict with other applications as well. Best is stick to the tests and work with the bodies that are there. It's also to protect the consumer. If you, for example, drink essential oils, you're going to kill yourself. It's always good to read the label and work with the existing laws and always be cautious. Because it's a natural product doesn't say that it's completely safe. You still have to look at the dosage and application, and the certifications is there for a reason. We can see South Africa is really coming out with a lot of solutions. The rest of the world are looking at us as problem solvers. If there's a problem, South Africa will solve it for us and we follow. We are not very big on the volumes, but we have got a very good reputation when it comes to quality and diversity. That is our strength. And that's what we need to develop further. We have a lot of publications already on our oils, whether it's indigenous or not. So we've got the academic part in order. We do have the technical part in order. We also have government on board. So what else can we ask for? We've got it all. You just have to take hands and work together.
Then I think we've only scratched the surface of this conversation regarding essential oils produced in South Africa, because I'm pretty sure no one can go into even deeper conversations with regards to the different oils and, the industry for each, say, for example, lavender oil. So it'll be actually really amazing in the future if we can have you again on the podcast and just, unpack the industry more in detail.
I would love to talk about job creation and more skills and how we link it to other industries. For example, in the tourism industry, that is where the two industries can go in tandem and build both at the same time. While people are looking at our beautiful country, We show them, we let them smell, taste, and see how beautiful this industry is. It works very well together.
Thank you so much once again to Karen Swanepoel, who is the CEO of the Southern African Essential Oil Producers Association. If you'd like to read more about the essential oils market, the industry, you can definitely visit our website, www.foodforumzansi.co.za, and you can simply type in essential oil in our search box, or you can type it into the chat bot that appears on the website, which will direct you to all of our articles published under the topic of essential oils. That's it from myself, Patricia Tembo, our technical producer, Megan van der Vent, and the rest of #team Food Forum Zanzi. Thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe and to keep growing with us.